Hello and welcome to Chapman House. What a pleasure it is to come to you from this glorious property on this beautiful spring day. I'm in the backyard, of course, as many of you would recognize. This is actually quite the sanctuary for animals and birds, and perhaps the site behind me is something that you recognize. I was reading in the notes that it was often a place that was appreciated for photography, and I can certainly see why. It has certainly kept its splendor, and I guess some of these trees have gotten a lot bigger since you were last here. Just walking along the side of the building over to the front door, the door that you would have used as a student here. That original BCS Chapman House sign that I'm sure you all recognize, and look what we have here. Looks like the Chapman House tie is hanging in front, keeping guard on this wonderful building and all the memories that have served over the years. So we'll bring that with us as we make our way over to Schoolhouse. You'll get a glimpse of the full building here on the front. As you can see, it's in good shape. We have our hockey coach's family living here at the moment. And just a wonderful location on campus as well. Little history that I learned as I inquired about Chapman House. Number one, it was first an infirmary. Not sure if you knew that, but that's what its original vocation was. And then first became a student residence in 1936. So 100 years after BCS began, Chapman House welcomed its first students. And so as we look ahead to our 200th anniversary in 2036, we're looking forward to giving Chapman House a new vocation and see what it will serve for in the future. So I'm about to cross the road here, St. Francis. Of course, the story you hear all the time with Chapman alumni is how tough they were because they had the long walk up to Schoolhouse. And so the house is just in the background here. Of course, you will see I'm heading out past Grant Field. Wonderful view of beautiful field, primarily used for soccer, but also for rugby. It's early spring, so there aren't leaves in the trees yet, but the grass has certainly become greener. So as I do walk up this path, and I'll flip the camera around in a second, just want to give you a little bit of a blast of the past, if you will, and list off some of the house parents that were in Chapman House through the decades. So Mr. Moffat, those of you who might remember him from the 50s and early 60s, then Mr. Cowens, Mr. Milligan in the late 60s. Those of you who are here in the 70s, you may have had Mr. Campbell, Mr. McCaffrey, and then somebody who was here for quite some time, Mr. Common, who many of you have spoken to me about already, who was here from the late 70s all the way to 1990. That's when Mr. Maltby took over, then Mr. Blair, and the last house parent was Mr. Dandurand, who was house parent in Chapman until 2010. And so for the last decade, there have not been students in Chapman House. There has not been a special purpose for the house. And I think you would agree with me that it's time to renew the glory of Chapman and find a new vocation for it and a new home. And so I'm going to flip my camera around here so that you can see the path that many of you would have walked along. As we head our way towards Schoolhouse, of course this path is quite nice, certainly on a nice day like today. In the winter, different story, and certainly later at night, I'm sure there were some scary moments that you can recount, where you might have heard some animals in the dark forest, or maybe some friends playing a prank. But it is a beautiful walk, very peaceful. It's a route that I take almost every day, and enjoy those few minutes as we walk up to Schoolhouse, see the beautiful buildings as we get onto the main campus, and it's a nice opportunity to gather thoughts before starting the day. So we're starting to see center fields, Mitchell Family House in the distance. You see Greer House as well. I don't think this path has changed very much since it was originally constructed. The neat thing now is it does connect onto the main path in front of Schoolhouse, and that was purposely done in the fall as we keep Chapman House connected to the main campus. So coming up to Molten Hill, of course, as students, I'm sure you looked both ways before crossing. Always important. We see Williams House down there. And this is our new path that leads onto campus and up to Schoolhouse. And of course, you have the iconic view that so many of you speak about and love as you come up to Schoolhouse, across the fields, which are looking really nice. And so as I make this final journey up the path, I do want to share with you that this campaign has targeted all of the houses because we had some definite plans for them in terms of renovations. We are committed to find a new life for Chapman House. We want to do that, I would say, by the end of this calendar year. And then we will, number one, include you in the process. So we want to consult Chapman House alumni, ask you what you think we should do at the house. So we'll be really excited to have you be part of that process. You'll be engaged, you'll have a voice, and then ultimately we will make a decision on how to move forward, and then of course do some fundraising and be able to do the renovations and upgrades that will be needed in Chapman House to restore it to its former glory. So from BCS and all of us here, really pleased to make this video for you. It's a special video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you soon, consulting you soon, and all the changes that will come about. So from Molten Hill, from BCS in front of Schoolhouse, I hope everyone stays well, and look forward to touching base. Bye.